I'm Joe Hamilton, Assistant Director of University Counseling Services. Today we're going to be talking about psychological health and wellness. Right now I have a couple of definitions of psychological health and emotional wellness on here. So psychological health is a general term for a state of emotional and psychological well-being that allows you to function in society and meet the demands of everyday life. Emotional wellness is demonstrated by the overall comfort with and acceptance of one's full range of feelings. Positive emotions such as happiness, amusement, excitement, contentment, and love contribute to our overall sense of well-being. It is striving to meet emotional needs constructively. It is maintaining good mental health, a positive attitude, high self-esteem, and a strong self-image. Really, one of the first theories about emotional wellness was by Abraham Maslow, and he talked about the concept of having a hierarchy of needs. And he basically said that in order to reach our full potential, we first had to meet our basic needs, starting at the bottom of the pyramid, our physiological needs, such as the need for food and shelter. Next, followed by our safety and security needs, a feeling of being socially accepted and belonging, and then our ego and self-esteem needs. And then if you are able to meet all of those needs, that's when a person become what he called self-actualized. And that's when they were really leading a life that they could be at their best and living their full potential. So this was the concept of emotional wellness. There are many attributes that can help you achieve a psychological health and wellness. One would be maintaining balance throughout your life. Usually when we go to the extremes, one way or the other with our behaviors is when we don't have a good, healthy lifestyle. Also, we know from research how important it is to have a good, strong support system and how much that contributes to both our emotional and physical health. Certainly knowing how to manage stress is an important part to our psychological health. A lot of talk now about our ability to be resilient when we're faced with hardships and how to let go of past difficulties and past hardships. Certainly having a sense of meaning or purpose to life can contribute to our psychological health. We also know that people who are more optimistic tend to lead healthier, happier lives, and also having a sense of confidence. Here are some other things that you might consider when thinking about your psychological health. Do you have a sense of being at peace with yourself and an ability to achieve relaxation? Have appropriately high self-esteem. We don't want it to be overinflated, but have a sense of positiveness about yourself. Good problem-solving skills can also be very helpful, and good communication skills. And all of these things, if you are feeling like that you are not leading your full potential, and could use some help in these areas, is an area that you can receive counseling, and we can help you improve these areas of your life. One of the early scales and assessments that was used to look at a person's well-being was called the Satisfaction with Life Scale, and it was devised by University of Illinois psychologist Edward Diner. There's been many assessments since that time, but this is a pretty short and simple assessment, so I thought I'd go over it with you today, and you can keep score along with me as I go through each question. So it's on a scale from 1 to 7, with 1 being not at all true, 4 being moderately true, and 7 being absolutely true. So go ahead and get out a piece of paper and a pencil and keep track of your scores as we go through the 5 questions. So the first one, question number 1. In most ways, my life is close to ideal. And go ahead and write down from 1 being not at all true, 4 moderately true, to 7 being mostly true, or absolutely true. 2, the conditions of my life are excellent. So again, write down your score from 1 to 7. 3, I'm satisfied with my life. 1 to 7 again. 4, so far I've gotten the important things I want in life. And 5, if I could live my life over, I would change almost nothing. So now you can total up the score and see what number you have on the scale. This is the scoring that we use. So if you scored between 31 and 35, you're extremely satisfied according to the scale. 26 to 30, very satisfied. 21 to 25, slightly satisfied. 20, neutral, and so on and so on. When we talk about this concept of happiness and health, there is a lot that we know that we do have control over. Now, there is an influence certainly of our genetics, and that can play a role in happiness. And sometimes, life circumstances don't work out too well, and they don't really contribute to our happiness either. But really, that's only about half of what are influencing happiness levels. A lot of it is intentional activity, and what that means is there are specific things that you can do on a daily basis that can help improve your mood and overall sense of happiness. If you're interested more in this kind of concept of happiness, it's really through the field of positive psychology that a lot of the research is taking place. And probably the most well-known researcher these days is Dr. Martin Seligman. And if you want to know more about this topic, you can go to his website, Authentic Happiness, and it's at the University of Pennsylvania. They also have a positive psychology program there, a master's degree in positive psychology, and so they do a lot of research in this area. So I'd encourage you to check that out. Here's a quote: "Happiness is not achieved by the conscious pursuit of happiness. It is generally the byproduct of other activities." And that's what we see, that if you are kind of seeking happiness, it doesn't necessarily happen. But if you are in the habit of doing things on a regular basis that are kind of good habits to be in, that overall you'll live a happier life. And that's what we're going to talk about next, is that our happiness habits. So when we're talking about happiness, one of the things is to have a pleasure or positive emotion of some kind that's related to the happiness. It also has to be an activity that you're engaged in, and it also has to have meaning. A lot of times people will engage in pleasurable activities, but they don't necessarily have much meaning behind them, and so those are not the kind of things that sustain happiness. It might be fun for the night, but it doesn't necessarily need to lead to long-term happiness. Alright, so the first happiness habit is to really seek out laughter in your life and do things that you find can provide you joy and laughter on a daily basis. So it's not too hard nowadays. You can always find a good joke on the internet, or maybe you have a friend that you hang around that makes you laugh. But try to make that part of your daily routine, is keeping a sense of humor about things. Also, we know how important positive thinking is to maintaining happiness. Trying to keep a positive outlook about things. If you spend a lot of time dwelling on the negative of the things that have happened, that really does influence your mood. So I know sometimes I have individuals who are like, well, I like to be realistic, and it can be good at times to have that kind of outlook. Overall, it's really good for our physical and mental health to try to be as optimistic as we can be. Another thing is to really, as it says here, savor life's joy. So really, stop and smell the roses once in a while. And that in this case, maybe it's a literal kind of thing that you do, but just really pay attention to what's happening around you, even the little things that are happening as you go about your day. But really, when those things occur, really appreciating them and kind of pausing to reflect on them, instead of letting them just kind of pass you by and taking them for granted. Forgiveness is a huge part of happiness. If you are holding a grudge or hanging on to old hurts, often those end up just end up hurting yourself in that process. So if you find that maybe you're having trouble getting over a past hurt, that can definitely also be an issue to work on through counseling. Being grateful. Lots of research that shows how people who really are grateful for the positive things that happen to them every day, it might be even just little everyday things, but taking the time to reflect on that each day. You can keep like a thankful journal or a grateful journal and write down each day the things that you're thankful for. Even if it becomes redundant, just the process of that each day can really help improve your mood. Practicing random acts of kindness has been also shown in the research to improve a person's happiness. So it can just be little things, like maybe holding the door for someone, picking up things for someone, but just really kind of pay attention to the people around you and seeing if someone needs your assistance and then providing that on a daily basis, and kind of have that part of your daily habit can really improve your mood. And the last one, happiness habit number 7, commit to your goals. And certainly those goals can change over time, but having a sense of direction for your life and a meaning for your life in various aspects. So maybe not necessarily just as a career, but career goals, but also what are your goals for your friendships in your life, your relationships, for your spiritual life. Having some sense of direction and really feel like you're working toward that. Even though, like I said, sometimes those plans can change, but having a sense of direction can help also give meaning. Well, here's some information about university counseling services. So if you want some assistance in working on these type of concerns and improving your sense of well-being and happiness, you can certainly give us a call or stop by our office in the McKinney Center. Our number is 660-785-4014. And thank you for watching the presentation.